the Fox 5 News Block.
We're following developing news. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza continues to worsen, while President Trump says the Israeli prime minister needs to step up and lead relief efforts. And speaking of relief, the tri-state area in the midst of a heat wave, some temperatures soaring up into the mid-90s. Good hot afternoon, everyone. I'm Antoine Lewis. Welcome to the News Block. Those stories in just a moment, but first a live look outside where it is simply hot. Temps soaring into the mid-90s. Audrey Pointe is here to talk about this in a first look at the forecast. Hi, Audrey.
Good afternoon, Antoine. Well, we do have a lot of heat across the tri-state area right now, and there's a heat advisory for most of the tri-state area. That's the area shaded in orange here. But now the National Weather Service has dropped a extreme heat warning for areas shaded in pink. This is across parts of northeast New Jersey. In the advisory area, we could experience heat index values up to 105 degrees, and in the extreme heat warned area, that's where we could experience heat index values up to 110 degrees. So it's going to be hot all across the region for everyone outside today. And right now we do have a lot of readings already in the 90s. We're at 94 in Islip. It's 92 out in Central Park. 97 already out towards Newark Liberty Airport. Down the shore in Belmar, if you're looking for relief there, 91 is the current temperature, but it might be a good day to be at the beach. Jump in the ocean, get some relief here. Looking good out in East Hampton. We're faring better here because of a southerly wind flow. The temperature is at 82 for you there. Up in the Hudson Valley, we have 90 in Poughkeepsie, and it's in the 90s over towards Sussex. Now, a lot of these temperatures are much warmer than they were at this time yesterday. We're talking about 10 to almost 15 degrees higher than 24 hours ago. Our dew points are reflecting that mugginess that we're feeling all across the region. It feels very humid and oppressive outside. We have readings mostly in the mid 60s to low 70s, and it's going to make it feel even hotter as we go towards the afternoon here. So when we factor in the dew points with the current temperatures, we get heat index values above what it actually is outside. So it's feeling more like 97 in Islip, feeling like 95 in Central Park. We're closing in on 100 degrees for the heat index right now down the shore in Belmar. And even up in the Hudson Valley, feeling pretty hot in Poughkeepsie, where it's 93 there, and we have a heat index value of 99 out towards Sussex, New Jersey, 93 over in Bridgeport, 86 up in Monticello. Not too much relief from the winds right now. They're relatively light across the region, and they should stay that way for the rest of the afternoon. No relief also with any rainfall. We're dry across the area. We're going to stay rain-free right through the rest of your day, and much of the Northeast is experiencing this dry and hot weather pattern. It's very humid across the region here, so when I say dry, I'm referring to rainfall because it still feels quite humid outside. And we're going to stay pretty quiet here in the Northeast, at least for today. It's a lot of heat that we're going to be dealing with over the next couple of days. There's a little bit of a disturbance off towards our west, but that's where it will stay, with it sparking off a couple of showers and maybe even an isolated thunderstorm. So we'll still have plenty of sunshine until it sets later this evening, and that's going to help bring up the heat. We're expecting temperatures to remain in the 90s as we go through the afternoon. And then tonight we will be dropping through the 80s, but it's going to be very warm and muggy. I'll have more details coming up. Antoine?
Audrey, quick question. So when there is no wind, does that help or hurt the situation like we're dealing with right now?
I'm sorry, Antoine, I don't
when
hear.
There's no wind, does the wind help, lack of wind help or hurt the situation?
Well, the wind would have brought a little bit of a relief, but when you have heat and humidity this high, it appears though we're not going to get any cool, refreshing breezes, unfortunately. If you're on the south shore of Long Island, it is helping to keep the temperatures down a bit, so that's where you're actually getting the benefit of the wind coming in off the ocean waters. All
right, we'll see you at the bottom of the hour. Thank you, dear. On to other developing news. The president calling out Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today, saying that he must do more to provide aid to Gaza as the war between Israel and Hamas continues to rage on, claiming even more lives. This is as a meeting at the UN is taking place to discuss a two-state solution. Sharon Crowley, live in the newsroom with the very latest on this. Hi, Sharon.
Yeah, hi, Antoine. Let's start first with the developing humanitarian crisis in Gaza. President Trump expressing concern today for starving children. During his remarks in Scotland, the president says the U.S. has ramped up efforts with other countries to get more food to that area. 25 tons, as you can see there, of humanitarian aid has been dropped into Gaza for the first time in months. The United Arab Emirates and Jordan carrying out the first drops of that aid. The Israeli military began limited pauses in fighting there to 3 populated areas of Gaza for at least 10 hours a day so the aid could be dropped in. Israel has restricted aid to Gaza's population because it says that Hamas siphons it off without providing any evidence of that. Much of the population now relies on aid.
The whole thing is terrible. It's been bad for many years. But it's great to hear you feel the same way that I do. We have to help on a humanitarian basis before we do anything. We have to get the kids fed. So we've been sending in a lot of food. A lot of the food that's been going there has been sent by the United States.
And in other developments today, the UN addresses a two-state solution for Israel and Palestine. Israel and the U.S. boycotted the two-day UN conference. It's being held right here in New York. Israel opposes a two-state solution, and the U.S. says the meeting is counterproductive to ending the war. The UN's chief, Antonio Guterres, says that he hopes the meeting serves as, quote, a decisive turning point. Antoine, that's the very latest in what's happening.
All right, Sharon, thank you. During the president's meeting with the UK Prime Minister in Scotland, the two leaders praising each other for the trade deal reached last month. The two are refining some of the details over steel imports.
You got it done, so I want to congratulate you on that. And it's a great deal for both. It brings unity. We didn't need unity, but it brings us even closer together. I think it's good for both parties.
Really good deal for both of our countries, and very, very well received here in the United Kingdom.
News of the trade agreement comes after a massive trade agreement with the European Union was announced late Sunday. This includes the EU paying a 15% tariff on U.S. exports, purchasing $750 billion in U.S. energy, and investing $600 billion in the United States. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump's patience appears to be running out with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trump is shortening the 50-day deadline he gave Russia to end the war with Ukraine. President Trump had originally given Russia 50 days to end the conflict. Trump is threatening to impose severe tariffs on Russia and secondary taxes on any country that does business with Putin. Russia invaded Ukraine 3 years ago. As that war continues, commercial flights have now started between Russia and North Korea. The first trip from Moscow to Pyongyang with 400 passengers taking place Sunday. Russia says it plans to schedule one flight to North Korea every month to accommodate demand to visit the country. The new flight represents growing ties between the two countries and comes as North Korea slowly opens up its borders to limited international tourism. Breaking news in Reno, Nevada, police are investigating a mass shooting at a casino this morning. At least 2 are dead and 3 more have been hospitalized. Police say the gunman opened fire just outside the Grand Sierra Resort Casino before being taken into custody. The Grand Sierra claims to have the biggest casino floor in northern Nevada and is just a few blocks away from Reno Tahoe International Airport. Stay with the Fox 5 local app for updates on this breaking story. Here in New York, the NYPD is investigating a shooting in the Bronx. Here's what we can tell you. Sky Fox over the scene in Throggs Neck this morning as police searched for evidence. 2 men were killed in the area of 500 Brush Avenue just after 6. A 21-year-old died from a gunshot wound to the stomach. The other, 22 years old, was shot in the shoulder. Police tell us 2 men left the scene on a moped wearing ski masks. No suspects are in custody. And officials at Mount Sinai Hospital in Morningside Heights need your help identifying this patient that you see there. The hospital releasing these photos, they say the woman has been hospitalized since April after someone called 911 and reported her sitting on a bus bench at West 125th and Lenox Avenue in Harlem. Hospital staff say the patient may go by the name of Pam and appears to be in her late 50s. If you recognized her, you are urged to call Mount Sinai Morningside Hospital. The City Health Department on alert after finding a cluster of Legionnaires disease cases in Harlem. 5 cases have been diagnosed since July 25th. The illness causes flu-like symptoms and is typically transferred through water supplies contaminated with Legionella bacteria. It's not transmitted between people. Officials say anyone who feels sick and lives in these zip codes should contact a healthcare provider as soon as possible. Back now to our top story, the heat wave scorching temperatures not just hitting the tri-state, millions of Americans are under weather alerts across the country. This as smoke from wildfires in Canada threaten air quality. Fox's CB Cotton has more.
A dangerous heat wave is building up and down the eastern U.S., threatening millions of Americans with triple-digit temperatures.
Drink a lot of water and just stay healthy.
Got the pool here, got the sprinklers.
Forecasters say it's the result of a heat dome where very hot, dry air is mixing with warm, wet air. Several cities in the southeast could see real fuel temperatures surge past 105 degrees.
I'm just taking everything slowly. I'm enjoying this time, but at the same time, I'm also just relaxing.
Here in New York, officials are activating the city's heat emergency plan and opening cooling centers.
People with chronic medical conditions and seniors, they're really high risk, and oftentimes they They have organ issues.
And the National Weather Service says there won't be much of a break overnight, with temperatures expected to fall only into the 70s. Health experts are urging people to take these steps to prevent heat-related illnesses.
Pace yourself. Don't think that drinking a lot of water is going to prevent heat exhaustion. You want to stay hydrated, but that is not going to fix your body temperature problem as your body temperature starts to rise.
The heat is also expected to impact air quality in parts of the region. Over the weekend, smoke from hundreds of Canadian wildfires drifted south and blanketed New York City, and more could be on the way. The elderly, those with asthma or other lung-related diseases are urged to limit their time outdoors. In New York, CB Cotton, Fox News.
All right, let's take a live look outside as we discuss the weather situation here in real time, Audrey Pointe. So she mentioned a heat dome. That's not our situation right now, right?
No, it is. We're actually under it ourselves here, and that's what's producing all of the heat and humidity across the region and could give us our next heat wave, too, because if we get 3 days in a row at 90 degrees or greater, which we're on target for, we'll have a heat wave. It'll be official as we go into Wednesday. In the meantime, it's clear skies out there. We do see plenty of sunshine. That's helping to heat things up all across the tri-state area and the Northeast for that matter. There's a front that we're watching, though, that's off to our north. It's really not going to affect us much here, but the low pressure center associated with it will slowly creep eastward, and then that will have an extended cold front that will spark off a couple of showers across our area by Wednesday. In the meantime, it's going to be dry across the region, plenty of sunshine, and that's going to build up our heat and humidity across the area. Here's the front that I just pointed out. It's kind of draped off to our north. That's where it's going to stay. So tomorrow, we're anticipating another sun-filled day with a lot of heat and humidity. As we go into Wednesday, though, here comes that area of low pressure to our north. Here and also a cold front associated with it. That's going to push eastward here, and that's going to help spark off a couple of showers across our area by Wednesday. So that's when we could see a possibility of a thunderstorm, too. Maybe a couple of downpours with the passage of that front by Wednesday, and could give us some relief from the heat, too, especially behind the front as we go into Thursday. But in the meantime, it's going to be hot and humid. We're looking at high temperatures mostly in the middle to upper 90s, but again, factor in the humidity, and it will feel over 100 degrees across many locations. And tonight it will be mild and muggy with lows overall in the 60s and 70s, and we'll do it again for tomorrow with a high of 96. We're looking at 93 for Wednesday, and on Thursday we'll have a chance of a shower or storm with temperatures in the 80s. Antoine?
And then some chance to cool off, correct?
That's right.
All right, Audrey, thank you. That's your news block for now, everybody. I'm Antoine Lewis. We thank you so much for joining us. Tune into the 5 o'clock news on Fox 5 and right here on the Fox Local app for all of the day's news as it develops. And of course, as you just heard Audrey say, take this very seriously.